The Australian share market is set to open higher today as tech stocks zoomed higher locally and on Wall Street, which was last Friday. Let's go to Peter Switzer, founder of the Switzer Report, for his views on this. Pete, it's nice for investors to be talking about positive starts for a change. There's been a bit too much red lately. So is the negativity over for stocks for now, and for how long?
Pete, I think what we're seeing is the market trying to build a bottom.
Yeah.
Trying to cope with the fact there's been big sell-offs, and the three big reasons are the impact of the Ukraine war on oil prices, inflation, China's lockdown, another inflationary effect, and of course the fear that interest rates are going to rise really rapidly. Now, the US turnaround in terms of tech stocks came about when Jerome Powell basically said, forget 0.75% interest rate rises going forward. They're going to be 0.5%. Market like to hear that. I also think locally, the market liked what CBA boss Matt Common actually said about interest rates last week, where he basically said all those big calls out there about rapid interest rate rises over the year are probably over the top. And I think there's this feeling that there's been this expectation interest rates will rise too high. The stock market quite sensibly sold off, but the stock market over time will probably, if they start to believe these calls that there won't be rapid rises in interest rates, they'll start thinking these tech stocks have been overbashed. They start buying them again.
Now, just looking at the cost of Bitcoin at the moment, we're looking at this minute at about $31,000 for a Bitcoin. Pete, is it now time to buy?
Courageous question, and even more courageous call if I say yes. The one thing is the point to make is year to date, Bitcoin is down 33%. Down 2% in the past 5 days, and it did go up 1.1% on Friday. So there is a relationship between tech stocks, which of course have been smashed as well, around interest rates. So I would say that there's an attempt to bottom on Bitcoin for the market. But look, it still remains a very risky play. And as far as I'm concerned, Peter, I've said to you before, if I don't understand it, I'm not going to invest in it. But if you were a speculator and a thrill seeker, it may well be the time to start thinking about running the big risk of investing in Bitcoin.
Okay, I do want to get your thoughts on this housing pitch that the Prime Minister launched yesterday. This will form the last week of the election campaign. First of all, what do you think of this option to raid your super for a youngster, raid up to 50 grand of your super to buy a home? What do you think about that?
All right, well, Pete, there's two ways to look at it. The bottom line is Australians prefer property over super, but super is a really good long-term way of building up your retirement nest egg. That said, there's nothing wrong with someone having the double play, building up your super and also owning a property. So the fact that younger people have an opportunity to put some of their super money into property is not necessarily a bad idea. And if they buy in the right areas, they can actually rise faster than superannuation. So that's one part of it. The second part of it, of course, is more people going to auctions will raise prices as well. So it will make property, I think, more expensive. It will put a bit of a floor under the property market, which won't be a great thing for young people.
That'd be self-defeating, wouldn't it?
It would be. But the interesting part of this, there's a two-part part of this policy, Pete. The downsizing rule being taken down to 55-year-olds means that older people could think, hang on, I've got a big home here. I'll downsize into a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment, sell for $2 million, buy for $1.5 million, have $600,000 left over. And a couple will be able to whack $600,000 into super age 55 and over, which will really turbocharge their super going into retirement, and it won't affect their other contribution caps. So it's a really interesting play that older people might be giving up homes at a time when younger people will want them. Though, of course, the more people demanding will raise the price. But it's a very interesting play. Probably should have done this 3 weeks ago because apparently 1 million people have already voted. Some of those people might have liked this policy.
I don't quite get that. I was scratching my head at the policy launch, the campaign launch being at the end of the campaign. I'm a bit with you there, especially, like you said there, more than 1 million people have already voted, so maybe too little too late. Good point, Pete. And the Housing Minister, Michael Sukkar, should be said. He's coming up in about 15 minutes from now, so I'll be able to ask him about that too. Thanks, Pete. We will talk to you soon.